save that for later. I have one request to make, and that is that you do not talk while any of the demonstrators are working. A lot of people here, I know, haven't seen some of their friends. I haven't seen Smokey Adams for 10 years or Darrell Nelson. So if you want to converse, would you step outside, please? I like to think of the Wimbledon tennis matches. If any of you are tennis fans and watch the tennis matches on TV, when the server is bouncing the ball, getting ready to serve, the announcer says, "Quiet, please," and there's quiet. In honor of Darrell Nelson, whom I haven't seen for a long time, I'm going to do the Port Townsend twist. Darrell and I worked this out. Pass it around. It's a crazy one. Now, the twist. Is it a curse or a blessing? When you have forged very carefully a piece and you start to put it together and you find out the one thing you forgot was to check the twist, because almost everything you forge, and for those of you who are not familiar with the method I have these right by the vise. Now you sight right along there and see if there's any twist. That's the way to find out if there's a twist and where it is with these four pieces. Now otherwise the twist can be a blessing. And I've got a lot of different samples here. You want to start these and pass them around and then bring them back. And if anyone wants a description of how they're made, bring it up and I'll answer the question. This is my 9th day straight. Some of you know what we've been through. So, right after the conference, I'm going down to the hospital in Grand Junction for an operation. And that's going to be welcome, because I won't have to do a thing.
You won't need any anesthesia.
I won't have to do a single thing. This one, keep the two pieces together. This is the Rubic Twist. Darrell, when was that we worked out that Rubic Twist?
1982.
11 years ago. My gosh, a blacksmith without a hammer. That was my fault. Wait a minute. Okay. All right. A little harder.
Francis, it was a new one. They asked, could I strike on the other side of the anvil?
Will you find a center punch right behind you? A blunt one. There should be a blunt. That's it. Thanks. All right. All right. Okay, hard. That's it. All right. This is done with real simple tools, a rivet set, center punch, and a star drill. Maybe some of you young people don't know what a star drill is, but that's how we used to drill holes in rock, with a star drill. So it's a very simple pattern, but when it's twisted, you'll be amazed at how the pattern that it takes on. You can use any combination of any tools that you have. Freehand, and you can mix them up any way you want to. I just pulled 3 tools out of the tool rack there. Oh, they usually end up on the floor anyway. Haven't had time to make a place to hang them. When it's twisting, that's no good.
Oh, you want me to put it?
Yeah. See if that's, is that enough?
No.
Yeah, I'll go one more. All right, then that should be up so as the top of the steel is showing. Okay. How's that look?
Good.
Pretty good is not good enough.
Make him read that sign. Tell him what I said. This is pretty good.
Well, open, close. Now this one. Yeah.
Just stretches as much.
Yeah, it stretches them out and makes them what they used to, what they aren't.
Yeah. What they do, what
Yeah. Yeah. Can you see it better that way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that gives you the spiral going around.
Yeah. Well, the rivet set with the center punch in the middle, it looks like a racetrack.
Yeah.
I'll make all these different ones on one bar. Well, Jim Honig has been in my class and my right-hand man on a lot of places. The picture of that gate on the far wall, he was the lead man in running the operation. And a few years ago, he was in a class. At the end of the class, he said some really good words to live by. He said, "Francis, you have taught us that good enough is not good enough. So just remember that. When you think it's good enough, you can do better."
Francis, could you make sure that you show the twist to the camera in a good angle, because we're
Yeah.
videotaping?
All right, I'll do that when I get the next twist. You give me stage directions, I'll follow. This is one that's good on heavy stock, 3/4, 7/8, 1 inch. It's grooves on the corner instead of in the center. Gives you entirely different effect.
Do you need a B block? Do you need a B block?
No. Oh, I should have said on the edge instead of the corner. All right, that's on 2 edges of 1 corner. Now we get the next one here. All right. Oh, excuse me. That what you're looking at? Okay. Same tool that you might use for grooving down the center, but instead put it on 2 edges. Will my secretary answer the phone, please? Is it life and death?
President.
Well, I want to tell you something. There's a new feeling in the White House. Every time I have written either Hillary or Bill, I've received an answer. And that's never happened before, and I've been writing presidents and congressmen for 50 years. You need me? What? Who's got the Rubic Twist?
This one right here.
Thanks. Did I get you with that hot iron?
No, it's all right.
Want me to kiss it?
Am I making better?
I want to get a picture of that.
All right, you want I want this end in the wise.
Want the water?
Not yet. All right, lift up on that. Okay, a little more.
Okay.
Who's the gunner down there?
I ain't saying nothing.
Remember, this is the cold end. Okay. All right. Still warm. Okay, you see how with very simple tools you can do a lot of things. I learned this one from Eric Mabius. And wherever I go and see something, I have a computerized mind. I don't have to write it down, because the first thing I do when I get back is to try somebody else's technique and remember it. And the sooner you do something that you see any one of these demonstrators do, the better the chance is that you'll do it right and remember it. Looks quite different than the groove down the center, doesn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
What did you call this first twist?
That's the Port Townsend twist.
Port Townsend.
That was invented in Port Townsend, Washington.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Both of them are nice.
Very nice.
I'll let that cool off and do something on the other end. And meanwhile, I'll do the Rubic Twist. Anybody have any questions about how this was prepared?
How deep did you cut it? How deep did you make the cut?
They should be, this is 5/8 square. They should be at least ½ inch, but ½ inch all the way around. So your end section, if you cut it all the way off, would leave you around where the saw cut goes, like so. It's not enough to cut it square, but round the whole thing, so you've got a ½ inch round in the center. And I've forgotten where this one came from. I may have thought it myself. I don't know. And if you're holding a short piece like this 5/8 square in a post vise, put a 5/8 vise spacer on the other end of the jaw. Then your jaws stay parallel, just like a bench vise. Any of you have this many tongs on your rack? Make them. I thought Mike Chisholm would be here. Did he not register?
He's on the East Coast, man. He went to the East Coast.
Oh. Well, Mike and I together coined up a phrase that's in my book. If the eye cannot see it, the hand cannot make it. If the tongs will not hold it, the hammer cannot hit it, which is a very good thing to remember. I want to cool that off now, Jim. Cold, not the way you hand it to me. Say, not the way most of you hand it to me. They hand me the end they've been holding on to, which is hotter than the end they've been working on. You want to wipe that off with a rag and pass it around? Learn a lot of safety things teaching in school, and if I want to show this to somebody, I don't show it to them this way, I show it to them this way, so they get the cold end. Oh, you got them all set for 5/8.
You want me to with the vines or no?
Yeah. All right. Twist that to a 45. Then twist the next one square. Next one to a 45. Next one square.
A little more.
A little more. Come on, get on there. See better that way. That's too cold. Oh, that one's wrong. Yeah. Well, you can see the start of it. And because it's round, it twists evenly. If it was square, it wouldn't twist as nicely. don't have my computer operating. You have to have a certain number of cuts in order for it to come out even. How many?
There's 6 cuts for 5 blocks.
Yeah.
So you want an odd number of blocks for it to come out even?
Well, if you want your final baluster to come out parallel, yes. Leave it in the ice. Okay.
Want to straighten it?
Oh, very gently. Okay. All right, now put it in there once more.
Nobody wants to look. Back, down.
back.
Oh.
Okay. All right. So there's the Rubic Twist, named after the Rubik cube.
Francis,
Yes.
question. How do you gauge the depth of cut?
5/8 square, I go in a 16th from each side, which leaves it a 1/2 inch, and then I go make it round.
It's still an eyeball kind of
Well, it's hard to see inside that cut, but you have to learn to eyeball things, because a lot of times you don't have time to measure. When I'm working at the power hammer, and I've had a lot of problems with people who can't see the size they're working on. You have to learn to remember the size. If you want to take 5/8 down to 3/8, you just have to learn what 3/8 looks like. I don't know any other way. Sure, you can spend a lot of time with a gauge, and by that time your iron's cold. Now, over on the bench here, let's see which one I want to do. This one. This is one twist where there's a double groove down two sides and a single groove down the other. That's cold, you can pass that one around. I'll do another variation. Good morning.
Good morning.
I have a number of these grooving tools, different widths, and they leave a double line and also a round in the center instead of making two lines with a cold cut or a marker. These leave a nice round. Got several different sizes. You'll see when I do it the impression that the tool leaves. And it's more accurate than trying to do two lines separately, because this, all you have to do is watch the one tool and it makes the two lines. Hi, Stuart. And there's a story behind this one. You see those two holes in the back of that? That was mounted on a display board. And I finally found out at Sturbridge Village in New England what this was used for. It was used for driving the hoops down on barrels. So you could drive it down on this side and drive it down on that side. Well, I thought I had a better use for it than that, so I played around with it. There are lots of things you can do with those tools. Now, when I'm making a fireplace tool, I like the weight of 7/16 square. Half inch is pretty heavy. So I weld a piece of half inch onto this basket. And then I draw it down to 7/16 right to here, where I'm going to make the twist. And that gives you a little heavier stock for the twist, especially if you're making 4 grooves or 4 tool marks on the 4 sides. I used to weld a piece of 7/16 square on and then upset it. I don't like to upset. I avoid it because it's hard work. So now I simply draw this easy with the power hammer or the hand hammer and leave it thick where the twist goes. It gives a real nice accent to the twist. I think you can see that on the one that's being passed around. Now I've got the half inch here. Yeah. Yeah, that's one is.
Right here.
Yeah. Speaking of twisting wrenches, I think this is the only thing that I ever invented in the way of a blacksmith tool. I've never seen one anywhere else. It's 2 sizes. When you put it on, you've got a nice even torque. And I've revived a lot of things, but I think this is the only thing I can claim credit for. Right back of you on the floor is a long handled piece of spring swedge. Yeah. You see that piece here? I had a job making some half-inch tenons on some heavy stock, about 100 of them. So I built myself, for me, the first spring swedge. And I thought I was smart because it really worked. Well, about 10 years later, I was hiking back in the gold country in the California Sierra Nevada. 7 miles from the road, I found an old mine with a blacksmith shop. And I packed this 7 miles on my back. And I have it hanging on the wall to remind me that I'm not as smart as I think I am. You're right, I'll need the 7/16, yep. Yeah, for this. You can see where the 1/2-inch square gives you a nice accent, and it's very little more work to do that, because you want to texture this anyhow
So you said you start off with half?
with 1/2-inch square,
Forge it to 7/16?
4 to 7/16. All right. And notice I always put the far end of the tool down in the groove and then rock it towards me. So you can see the nice round that leaves, just with one tool. A lot different from a double groove with a marking tool.
thought he got a picture of Francis kissing Jim's hand. He would like to have it because his camera, he broke his camera when I took it.
Broke the camera, it did.
Now, when you're doing something like this, it's very important to do it on opposite sides, because the first one is going to make it out a square. And if you turn it once, it's going to be square, and you'll have the devil of a time controlling it. So you do it from two sides, and that makes it symmetrical. So when you do the next side, you've got an even parallel surface to work on. That's also important in splitting things apart. Work, if you're making a split basket, work from two sides, don't go all the way through, then work from the other two sides, rather than just turning it a quarter turn.
Pass it around.
Sure. All right. One more side. What?
What did you use to do the cuts on the Rubic Twist?
Hacksaw. Let's see. All right. Now, one more touch that will make it look different than the one I passed around. I'm going to round those outside corners. Would you pass me that stand over there with the roller on the top, Dana? Yeah. Some of you may wonder how I do this by myself. But it's quite simple. That holds it steady. You can turn it, you can slide it, much better than a hold down. You all see that? That's a real blacksmith's helper. Doesn't cost a cent. No Social Security, no payroll deductions. There it is with the double groove and the corners rounded. Looks a lot different than if you leave the corner square. Sure, it takes time to do it, but that puts you in a class at the top of the heap instead of the bottom. Some of you have learned this from me. Here's one. You never short your work, you never short yourself, you never short your customer.
Didn't hear that one.
You never short your work. And many of you should realize that you have to charge some of your time off to learning. Because if you know how to do something right off the bat, you can charge for it. If you don't know, and you have to experiment, and I still make test pieces, but I don't charge for them. Because if I have to make a test piece, that means I don't really know what I'm doing yet. In the long run, it will pay off. Wait a minute, right to the end of the twist. There, that's it. Wire brush it. Hold it a minute right there. Tighten the vise. Okay. Got it? Makes a different twist, doesn't it? I won't pass it around because it's still hot, but it'll be available later. But that's one of my favorite twists. I like it. I think it goes with this pretty well too. Takes a little extra time, but it's worth it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. All of you have the same number of hours a day that I do. It depends on how you use them. You ever see this one, that one before? Well, as I said, I figured a better use for that tool than driving barrel staves, barrel hoops.
That tool, did you have to round it off a bit, or did you use it just like it came? The barrel hoop tool, where you...
I use it just like it came. Yeah. And that little sharp edge, the hoop is only maybe 20 gauge.
Right.
And if it had a flat edge, it would slide off. But that little crown on it makes it hold against the wood and drive the barrel stave down. I'll see if I can find a piece of 1/2 inch round. All right. Right underneath where, or in back of where you're sitting, are some large vice grips on the lower rack. 2 of them, please. Thank you. Cool that off now. Got the rag. Thank you. Pass it around. If you twist round stock, it doesn't do anything. But if you shape it first, you can get some nice patterns out of it. First, I want to flatten that just a little. Flatten it just a little so you have a nice, all right. So you have a little flat line to follow. Yeah, that's all I need. All right. Okay. A little bit further on this one.
The weight on your hold down there, is there a reason for it being a piece of angle iron?
That's a piece of angle iron. They used to have a piece of railroad track.
Just a weight.
Yeah, just a weight, yeah.
Flip around when you're working a device so the camera can see.
Oh, okay. Going a little deeper. That's grooved deeply on both sides. It's sort of a figure 8 pattern. And the first one I did was about 60 years ago, and I have learned since that if you tighten it up until the groove closes, it gives you a much nicer pattern.
Tighten it up until the groove closes.
Yeah. Until that V, till the edges of the V come together. You'll see in a minute.
Do it opposite so he can see.
Yeah, all right. Got me all backwards. So that's the difference that tightening it up until the groove closes makes. Now, Will Perry, I don't know if he's here today. Will Perry has a big Marvel bandsaw. And he takes that piece and cuts it right down the center line. And it makes a beautiful half-round molding. Really slick. There's a little plaque outside the door going into the bathroom and the pottery studio on the wall. You can look at that and see what a nice molding that makes when it's cut right down the center. And that's the difference. I didn't twist this one tight enough.
There's still time to repent.
What?
There's still time to repent.
I'm past the repenting age. And I'm also glad, thank the Lord, I'm past the retirement age. Put that. Oh, I'm going to do the Bentley twist.
Bentley.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna hit pretty hard then.
No? No. I won't try to use a power hammer, but you hit right on there.
Right on.
Yeah.
What kind of twist you got?
I named it the Bentley Twist because a fellow named Bentley showed it to me.
Looks like a grain auger.
Yeah. If you hit too hard, we get nicks along there, so you want to make a...
Like I've been a hitting.
Yeah, but no harder. Move the brush.
Is that enough? Take another heat.
Yeah, I'll take another heat. No, that's about it. I'll get a little heat on the end there.
What size suede is that?
That's the 7/16. Yeah.
Half-inch round and 7/16.
Yeah.
Hold this or can it be all right?
No, that's all right. Might do better if I had let's see, right there. All right, that sounds solid. Okay, light. Okay. So there it is, shaped. See the little fins on the edge. Oh, all right. Let's see, right there. Okay. Let it come down a little bit level. Okay. I think I should have used I think I should have used 3/8, but that makes an interesting one anyway. 3/8 would have left a little more of a fin sticking out. And then if you use square stock, you get a different effect, because your square corner will stick out, whereas on the round, you get a rounded edge. I think I better do another one with the 3/8 wedge instead of the 7/16.
Want to do a square or not?
No. Yeah, 1/2 inch square.
How long? 3 feet?
There may be a short one over there.
One longer than that?
Oh, that'll do.
Going into the same slot or the smaller one?
I'm going in the same slot because the 1/2 inch square is
Yeah.
bigger. Put a little more coal on, will you, please? Thank you. Yeah.
Best friends.
Yeah. Okay. What time?
9:30.
Is there a round face sledge? Yeah, that will be better. No, a sledge. This, probably on the other rack. Oh, there's one here with a real. That's the one. Yeah, that'll be better. Since we're not using the power hammer. Give me a chance to move it a little bit each time. Come on. Devil. There it is on square stock.
Use the 7/16 wedge on that one?
Yes. The half-inch round would have been better if I'd used a smaller swedge. Would have left a little more of the fin. This one. Wait a minute, where's the end of it? Right there. Okay. Easy. Wait a minute. Don't loosen it. This is the way you can true the ends up. Okay. Good. All right. That's on half-inch square with a 7/16 wedge.
It's more dramatic with the square stock around it.
But,
It's better looking with the square stock around it.
yeah,
Shows it off.
yeah, I think so. Yeah. Look, but don't touch.
Yeah. But you want to so bad.
What?
I said you want to so bad.
Yeah.
That's neat. It's a good look.
Yeah. Well, it just shows you what you can do with metal when you get to the point where you can play with it. You're not fighting it anymore. You just do what you want to with it. I should take that up one more turn, which I will do. Yeah, I'll tighten that up one more turn. That'll look better. Where's the piece of 3/4 square I started with? The long piece? The 3/4 square, where I did the Port Townsend twist.
Here it comes.
Here comes Francis.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I can even go one more. Yeah. That looks better. Okay. Now. Okay. Now, once more. That's it. Okay. That little mark there doubles the value.
How long I done? At least.
Any questions while that's getting hot?
Where do you get a good quality coal? I live in Colorado, and I've been getting stuff from northern Colorado, but I get so many clinkers in it.
We're lucky. We got a couple of years supply when Mid-Continent closed. I understand that the Raton coal is fairly good, that the Hesperus coal is fairly good, and over at Paonia at the Somerset mine, they just opened a new vein which they think is about as good as the Carbondale coal. So you might explore that. Over McClure Pass, the first mine you get to. Yeah, you'll cool it off now. Any more questions? Ask me one I can answer.
Francis, this is kind of a basic, maybe dumb question, but why do you take the scale off when you're twisting just for visibility so you see the twist better?
I always take the scale off all the time, as much as I can. For one thing, you can see better. The only time I don't bother to take the scale off is when I've got a piece to the forging heat. That's when it's sweating. And then it's going to continue to scale for quite some time. But otherwise, the first thing I do, hit it with a wire brush.
Francis, when you quench on a twist, are you inhibiting the twist closest to the area the twist begins? I notice you're quenching on a twist.
Yeah.
You quench with water. You're quenching at the place where the twist begins, so it doesn't get any tighter.
That's right. The other way is to have the acetylene torch and add heat to where it hasn't twisted up enough. And I can do a 24-inch twist on half-inch square at a dull red heat because I've got the acetylene torch, and you add the heat where you need it. And that will keep two advantages. Wait till I tell you, all right? All right. The other advantage of using the torch to control the heat instead of the water is you can take a long twist, and by adding heat, you can twist it and it's warm enough to straighten it. If you cool it, then it's harder to straighten. So it's a real handy way to do a long controlled twist. No, I'm going to do it just on two sides, which I've never done before. And I think, well, I started with a fairly sharp one. I'm going to follow it up with a blunt one. It'll give more of a groove. Hit it on the top, that's it. There's square stock, flattened on the corner and then deeply grooved. And believe it or not, I have never made this twist before. So, yep. You never stop learning. Yeah. Oh, man.
Essential part of shop equipment, huh?
What's that?
The stool is an essential part of shop equipment.
For me, it is. Yeah. Now, that depends. You see that little insignia up there?
That's what I'm doing.
That's what you're doing.
But I'm trying to take pressure off my back.
All right. I had a kid in class this spring. He couldn't keep his hands out of his pockets. He couldn't keep his butt off the chair. And my theory is there's always something to do. If your hands are in your pockets and the iron's hot, it just takes that much time to get your hands out of your pockets. So the students designed and made that. Oh, this one. Give me a pull on it. Pull. That's it. Hold it. How's that look?
Little tight there, isn't it?
Should I go one more?
Cool it there and tighten it there.
Wait a minute, let me cool this up just a little more. All right, come on. Okay, yeah.
What are you gonna name this one?
I don't know. You can see right there the advantage of using the torch to add heat. That would have been hot enough if I'd used the torch to straighten in one heat. This way, I have to heat it up again to straighten it. I think this is the last one. All right. All right, that's it. Okay. So there's a new twist.
All right, thank you.
Oh.